Talk to us a little bit about your journey, how you got to USC to begin with from the start to you know.
Okay, so I can't remember how many years ago it's been, but Sue Vodica was the head coach here at that time, and she was recruiting. I was coaching high school at North Augusta, and she was recruiting a few of my players. And so at some point later, I saw her at an FCA dinner over at Aiken First Baptist, or not First Baptist, but Millbrook. And so anyhow, she and I talked some more, and then so a little while later, she calls me and says, "Hey, why don't you come in and sit down with me?" And I thought she wanted to talk about those current players that she was recruiting, and then that's when she kind of sprung it on me that she was looking to hire an assistant, and so I agreed to it, and we did it, and it was really one of the best coaching decisions I've ever made. The worst coaching decision I ever made was I left after 3 years. And then I realized after a couple years that I shouldn't have left, well, actually after 6 months. And so when Hillary got hired, she asked me to come back, and that was the second best coaching decision that I've made. So that's my journey to USC Aiken.
So going from assistant to head coach this year, what's been the biggest difference so far for you right now?
Well, I've always had great relationships with the players because I've recruited all of them. But now having to have a little different relationship with them because now I'm making the decisions on who's going to be in the first 11, who's going to come off the bench, who's going to play where. But the one thing that I've tried to impress upon the kids or the girls is that my personality hasn't changed. I'm the same guy that came to see you play. I'm the same guy that's been to your house. I'm the same guy that's visited you at your school. I'm that same guy. I just have to make some different decisions. I'm no longer the silent partner. I'm on the hook for the decisions that have to be made.
Do you think that helps a little bit, the fact that you've known them for 3, 5, 6, 7 years already from the time they were 13, 14 years old?
Absolutely, it does. It makes a big difference, and the neat part about that is you get to see those kids develop over the course of those years, and then they come here, and you spend 4 or 5 years with them, and the next thing you know, you've seen them grow from a really young, inexperienced individual to a young woman, and that transformation is absolutely rewarding.
So what's the biggest challenge going from the fall season where you hit the ground running and the kids are coming in early to having 3 months to prepare for a season, 3 or 4 months to prepare for a season?
Well, once again, it's just keeping the kids engaged and helping them deal with the uncertainty and the daily changes, and the best way to do that is just communicate openly and honestly with them. But honestly, what we've decided back in March was we were going to only try to control what we could control, and then find the positives. And so the positive to this current scenario is our freshmen don't have to hit the ground running. They can get used to college life, living away from home, and improve their soccer game before they have to go on the road and play Columbus State or North Georgia or Flagler and be in that pressure cooker and then come back the next day and go to class and take a test. So for us, the positive is we've got time to prepare and adjust and figure out who we're going to be and develop our style of play.
How does that help you, going into the season as a head coach with so many players returning that kind of know who you are, know your system, and what you want to do?
Well, you can never put a price on how important experience is, regardless of what the perception of that experience has been. There have been any number of those older kids who have stepped up and led in one way or another since the beginning of the summer. And for me, that's been very, very exciting, definitely very rewarding, because that indicated to me that I recruited the right kids for our school, for our university. So I think that the transition from previous coach to new coach is made a lot easier by players who want to be better, but at the same time are willing to exhibit leadership skills to help other kids get better as well.
What are you looking forward to the most this season with your team?
What I'm looking forward to is the growth. The one I told the group on Wednesday, I said, look, I'm the same guy that recruited you. You've got the best of both worlds. It's going to be different because I'm different in terms of philosophy and how we're going to play, but it's still a familiar face and a familiar voice. that is giving you that difference. And so for me, I think that that's really the most important thing for the kids to keep in mind is that, yeah, it's going to be different. We're going to have to make it better. It's going to be better. It's already been better. But it's the same guy that they've known for 5, 6, 7, 8 years that's leading them in that direction. You know, the one thing I've told the kids too is, you know, I've had chances to leave, to go places that on the field have been much more successful. But I stay here because of the relationships I built. And I learned that lesson because when I left the first time, I would come back intermittently and watch games. And those kids that I recruited then, they wouldn't talk to me after the games. They just, hey, whatever. Had a parent come over and tell me what they thought about me having left. And then I realized if you're going to invest in kids and you're going to build the relationship, then you better be there for the long term if it's in your ability to do it. So for me, this is probably, unless there's something life-changing that's going to happen, is going to be my last college gig because I've always felt really comfortable here, felt like it's been home, and been very well accepted and appreciated, I think. And so there's why else would I leave?
Awesome.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with amusement.
I like those parks.
We do glamour shots.
We can, but whatever makes you happy, Hank.
I need one. I need some glamour first.